Alright guys, welcome to link building. We're going to discuss backlinks. I'm going to give you an idea of how to measure them based on metrics. So what we're really looking at are backlinks, an incoming hyperlink from one web page to another website. And we talked about this in an earlier video, but we're going to give some more description around exactly what they are so we can build out backlink profiles and analyze that of our competition. So there's a couple different ways that you can have backlinks on a site, and I wanted to highlight site-wide links. Now, site-wide links are what you find within the footer on which, or the navigation. They're on every page or almost every page of the site. Now, ideally, and I confirm this, is that you want a homepage backlink to your homepage. That's where they found the most power. And the anchor text is what you see as anchor text. Now, that could be a naked URL. It could be the brand name. It's whatever someone would click on to go to the website. And backlinks is one of the major primary ranking factors. So once you have all the other pieces that we discussed in place, this is going to be the last part of it that's really going to put the seal on getting you into the top positions. Now, ideal backlinks pass on authority. They're relevant and trustworthy. So for us, we have a orthodontist site. So if we can get high authoritative backlinks that are relative to orthodontia, health, or dentistry that are very trustworthy, then that's going to be in our benefit. Now, there's a lot of different types of domains. You can get .com, .org, .edu, .gov, and a lot will say that the .edu are very strong, .org are strong, and .gov are strong. And it's great to try and get backlinks from there, and there's a couple of tricks that you could do to potentially get some, as they hold a lot of weight and value from what I've seen as far as the sites that I've ranked. Now, we're also going to view backlinks with Search Console, Majestic, SEMrush. You can use Ahrefs and Moz. So those are a number of different tools that you can use. And remember that you want to look at it with a couple of different tools because each one will pick up different things. There's not one tool that picks up everything, and it's the other tools that just pick up pieces. So website grading, we use authority and flow. Now, authority, we have domain and page authority. Domain authority predicts how well the website will rank. It's on a scale of 0 to 100. Page authority, same idea, but it's based on how well that page may rank. Now remember, just because something has a high DAPA, that doesn't mean it's going to rank. They could have a spammy backlink profile that gives them a lot of authority, but because it's very spammy, they can be penalized. It's not optimal backlink text. Let's say that they have a lot of Chinese characters pointing in their backlinks to the website, but it's got a lot of authority. That's not going to help them if they're trying to rank for something in the US. That's not relative. It's going to look spammy. And then we use Majestic to identify trust flow, which is a score based on the link quality, right? So how trustworthy is it? Is it a bunch of spammy links from China or India, or are they a bunch of US based links from, in our case, medical journals? Then we have citation flow, which helps us measure the link equity or power the website carries. So that is also a spam trigger as well. So if there's too much citation flow and not enough trust flow, and our balance is off by half, which we'll talk about in the Majestic video, then that could be potential spam as well too. Then we have topical trust flow, which is one thing that I really like, and that's the website categorization, which we're looking for health/dentistry is what we would love to have our site be primarily as. Now, the target that we're looking for, our minimum target, DA 10, trust flow 10, and that means that the citation flow would be 20 or less. And then a good site would be 15 plus and trust flow 15 plus. And then the best sites are going to be much higher, and the ones that are much higher are the ones where we're going to want to get our exact match backlinks, and the 15s are where we're going to want to get our partial match, and then the 10s are where we're going to want to get our others and non-branded. So obtaining backlinks, there's a lot of different ways that we can get backlinks, right? The citations will generate backlinks. Guest posts. Reach out to websites. Say, hey, I found a broken link on there. Can you replace it? Or, hey, you forgot to include me. That was one thing that I did with Search Engine Journal, is that they had a article on veterans doing digital marketing. And I saw it and I said, hey, you forgot me, and they ended up putting me in there. Another is you can purchase backlinks, which is something that I do, and it's not a black hat tactic unless you go into more of the private blog networks. But you go out, it's normal for businesses to purchase advertising space on website and get a backlink from it. Plenty of directories do that. Adding your blog post comments, that's one thing you do a couple a week. It's very natural. You get contextual, or you look for contextual blogs, right? So stuff within Orthodontia and Invisalign, and you want to get a comment in there, and that may have a link back to your site as well too. Scholarships, looking around the web, say, because we're local, at the schools, and say, see where you can do a $100 scholarship and get a backlink. 301 redirects, purchasing expiring or even expired domains and then redirecting it to your site. And what that would do is that all the links pointing to that domain are then going to pass juice to your domain and authority. So that's one trick to keep in mind. And then search operators to find these things. So in URL, orthodontist, blog, orthodontist. We're looking for sites that we can go after. HARO, help a reporter out. Every day, it feels like they send a bunch of different article requests where they're looking for experts in, say, dentistry or orthodontics. They're going to want an article piece on it, and you get it back to them, and hopefully they'll use that. Private blog networks, that's a big thing where you build a website exactly like you would a regular website. You provide helpful information. It's not spammy. And then you use that because it's got good authoritative metrics on it and point that to your money site, your client site. Then there's social sites. Get Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all those sites. When we do our online branding, all those sites are pointing back to us. And when we do posts and tweets, it's got it on there. So that way we can drive social traffic and signals. URL shorteners is another little trick. And one thing is that you take a URL shortener, then you put a social, you point to Facebook, a post on Facebook. As examples that you do 5 different hashtags on Facebook, it creates its own page. You use that page in the URL shortener, and then you spam it. Spam it with GSA, and GSA is just a bunch of nasty links that jump up authority, even though it's super spammy. One trick, a Web 2.0, like Google Sites is a Web 2.0. About.me is a Web 2.0. Blogspot is a Web 2.0. Build out pages on there with links back to our site a lot of times, and those are going to be primarily your branded or naked URLs. And then YouTube video descriptions, even though that's under social, that's another way to get a great backlink. Your Google Plus profile. So all these different areas pointing back to your site are going to have an impact on building out your backlink profile. And as we discussed earlier, the link anchor text is a big piece of this, and I'm not going to jump into it too much here as we went through this earlier, but you want to make sure that you understand the different types of links you get back. Exact match, partial match, branded, naked link, generic, images. Now note, you want to be aware of using exact match keywords too often. You want to make sure that what I do is that I use exact match on high authoritative sites. And then I work down from there. So the better the site, the more exact my anchor text is going to be. And then if you do it incorrectly, you could trigger a penalty. So let's say that you only use your targeted keyword. Let's say you just use Invisalign everywhere you went. Invisalign orthodontist, and then that was your only keyword anchor text, and it made up the majority of it. It's going to look spammy, and you're not going to get position. Although sometimes those tests can work. I'm not completely against them, but just be aware that once the penalties trigger, that starts the red flags. And then use all types of anchor text to backlink. Exact match, use on the highest DAs and TFs. Partial match, use those on the second level or tier, I'd say, of DA, like 15 plus, TrustFlow 15 plus, and then others you can sprinkle around everywhere. Now, this slide, I showed it in an earlier video as well too, is going to be a very important outline because that's essentially how I go out and I build out my links. And what I show where you get links before, I will do this and this is an ideal way that I would do it when I get links from a homepage of a site back to mine. So if I'm doing a blog post or a guest or a blog comment, I'm not going to use this particular one. But the good news is that having more non-exact matched keywords or other is going to help, because that increases the number of others to your site, because we kind of want to be in that 60% is where I like to be. And then that way, when you do your exact match, you don't have to worry about an over optimization penalty. So let's jump into looking at how I measure sites, and we're going to look at our site, and then we're going to look at a couple competitor sites. All right, guys, so the first thing we want to do, let's do a check of our own site. So first we see that we have a DA of 9. And then when we go into Majestic, we got a trust flow of 1, citation flow of 6. And we see 5 referring domains, IPs, 26 external backlinks. Remember, there could be more than one backlink from here. Then we scroll down, we've got 24 text links, 2 image links, that's fine. You want ideally more text links anyway. Then even though we don't have other here, the way that it's spread out is because that we don't have a lot of referring domains. What this tells us is that we've got nothing but up from here. And we don't have our primary topical flow of dental health of what we're shooting for. Another area that you're going to be able to check out your backlinks for the site is in Search Console once you got that set up. So you want to go in to the back end, and you're going to look under search traffic, and then you're going to check out links to your site. And then it's going to give you a breakout of the total links, your most linked content, so the pages that have the most links to them. And remember that we want this, so orthodontics, braces, and Invisalign. So we're looking actually pretty good right now as far as how we've got this structured for what we want to rank for. And then we've got how our data is linked. So we've got website, braces, Invisalign are the top 3. Braces and Invisalign is good. What we don't have up there is orthodontist. So we got it here, got Invisalign, which probably means I would say that if we were to look in that area, we'd say braces, orthodontist, West Hills. See, we're number 2. And then let's change that to Invisalign. Number 2 again. So something to keep in mind. So if we had a stronger orthodontist within here from a high authority DA, that would be helpful. Now we can also see, it gives us an idea of the total domains to our site and links, in which this just gives us a basic idea of what it wants to show us, even though Google likes to keep secrets from us on the data, so we're not able to completely game it, but it does give us some information, in which we got US info, place to go in USA, so some of the citations that have been built have been picked up. And pretty much that's it for understanding the domain, or understanding what's linking to our domain as far as backlinks to our site. And then also, like if you ever had a penalty, this is probably where you would find it if it's manual. So let's take a look at our competitors. So first we're going to look at Schacter, see what they've got going on. So they've got a DAPA, right, 1730. Then these guys got 2917. So as we look at these, right, 1-1. So this I'd be interested. They got 0 links. These guys we'd have to look into. They may be using SEO who's doing PBNs and masking their links, which is possible. But let's take a look, and just by looking at this, we can see that if we get into about a DA of 17 with the page authority of 31, we should start ranking. So let's look at Schacter. Now he's coming up. It's kind of spammy. 10. A little spammy. Want more text links. They just don't have a lot of links. That's why we don't see other. Let's take a look at the referring domains. This is one that we would want to get. We got health resources, 5444. Good TrustFlow. I know their domain authority is going to be good. But of these, that's the only one that I really see. And then let's look at their root. Yeah, they got more links going to their root. They're all images broken out. They just don't have a lot. They got some naked URLs and other. Let's go to referring domains. Don't like this. Do like this. Parents of Welby Way. What is this? Trying to see how if they're relating this as kids in orthodontia. No, it's a fundraising event that they had done. Even though it's not a .org or .edu. Look at donate now. But this is actually an example of finding a site that you'd see. Schachter right there. And Platt. So both these guys are there. So this would be something that I would do. I would donate and get a backlink on here because it's going to be relative to those two guys who are on the first page. So even though we got a DA of 15, our trust and citation flow aren't the best, both of our competitors are on there, so we would match it. All right, now let's take a look at Agora. So they got a PA, DA. Let's look at link analysis. Then we've got at lodging, demand force. We got good DA. I wonder, I think this is a booking site, a schedule appointment site, so that way on the site or wherever you are, you could just schedule an appointment and it uses this platform to do so. And they gather reviews, place them on there. So if you're looking for a place that you need to gather or set appointments that help, this might be one to actually look into. But let's dig around a little bit. So we know that our 29 and 17. Let's drop them into Majestic. See that profile. How do these guys look? This is their URL. The URL looks good except for topical. 2918. Let's look at the subdomain. We got a little bit more spammy. 3221. Yeah, it's about what we want to see. See, they got the other, so they've been building. Other, more info. Naked URL, website, Invisalign Elite Provider. Los Angeles Braces Ortho. Let's take a look now at their referring domains. Let's change this up. TrustFlow. So we would get one here. Demand Force. Artie Pot. So these are good, but I want these. Let's look at this. So in a next video, I actually purchased this. Super Dentist, we would go after and look at these. But essentially we would know that 32 backlinks. So we'd want to get for Chomp, because we only got 5. We want to get, I'd say it looks like 32. We get some solid backlinks. You know, only need to build at 32. Look at the sites. Start building off that, and then we would be in good position. So hopefully this clears up how we identify what the PADA of a site is, how we look at backlinks going to our site, the trust flow, citation flow, topical flow, and we'll have a video specifically on Majestic. Hope this helped. Looking forward to the next video.